saw them. And the Sun woman was like, whoa, who these people? They funky? But because we were so nice, we welcomed these funky things in. We had no idea who they really were. And the first thing we said when we saw the Iceman with all that hair and the Ice Woman with all that hair, we went and got some clippers. And we said, come over here so I can shave your nasty, hairy back. And we cut all that funky hair off. And then the black woman went to the Ice Woman and said, come on, now that's your menstrual, baby. You don't just walk around like this. You showed her how to protect herself during the menstrual cycle. And then when it was time for their kids to eat, they just go kill shit and eat it. They said, ooh, these people sick. You taught them how to start a fire, and you got to cook the meat, baby, to get rid of the germs, and put a little jerk sauce on it, a little paprika, and oh, bang, damn, where you lizards come from? Then a black man had to go to the white man and say, listen, you can't be having sex with your daughter. That's your daughter. It's your cousin. That's your niece. No, that's family. We don't do that. You damn cave thing. Taught him how to go hunting. Taught him how to operate his family and everything. Taught him how to wash their behind. Did you know white folks never used soap until they encountered the African? What was Christopher Columbus looking for in his voyage? Spices. It wasn't for no damn food, because white folks don't know how to spice up no damn food. They was looking for spices because they used to use the spices to stay fresh, to keep their body fresh. Remember the Black Plague in Europe? That was funk. Funky ass crackers. That was the Black Plague. No soap and water. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You brothers with your white girlfriend, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They wash up 3-4 times a month. Smelling like Outback humpback. Talking about you the one who funky. They the funky ones. Yes, brothers and sisters. And the whole time we helping the ICE people out, they studying and mastering everything we do. And then one day they woke up and they decided to take the land of the sun from the sun people. And we've been fighting with them ever since. That's right. Your humanity has been your greatest benefit to humanity, but it's also been your greatest downfall, because you don't know when to turn it off. Dylan Roof would have never happened if we knew how to keep our compassion in check. I didn't say you couldn't help white folks. If a child is hungry, I'm going to feed them. I don't care if they white or purple. If a woman being hurt, I'm going to try to intervene. I don't care if she white or purple. But I will never jeopardize my people's best interests, trying to serve the agenda of another people. That's why I let folks know from the beginning I'm unapologetically African. I'm speaking for black folks, because nobody ever speaks for us. Nobody speaks for us, but we want to take care of everybody else's fight. Y'all remember last year the George Floyd protests? That's right. Me and my mother was home watching it on TV. I couldn't believe what I saw. I knew we wasn't going to get nothing out those George Floyd protests. These were the most comprehensive social unrest in America since the Dr. King assassination protests 55 years ago. And we got nothing out of it. You had total control of the media for 3 weeks. You had total control of the media for 3 weeks. All you saw on the television was black people's issues, and you ain't getting nothing from it. You know why? First mistake you made in the George Floyd protests, it was a multicultural march. It wasn't just black people. You let white folks in. That's the worst thing you could do. You know why? White people outnumber black people 5-1. So if you let them join anything you do, just by virtue of their numbers, they will take it over and dominate it. And that's exactly what they did with the George Floyd protests. According to the Pew Research, they said only 1 in 5 protesters was black. I remember they came to Philadelphia. I went out there and just watched them, all these white folks, with Black Lives Matter t-shirts, wristbands, hats. Oh, they was Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. You can hardly find them now. Where they at now? Where are them good white folks? They ain't do nothing. They was just having some fun with your silly ass because you don't know how to struggle by yourself. They diluted it and destroyed it. That was mistake number 1. It should have been all black, but you let them multiculturalize it. Number 2, there was no identifiable leadership or spokesmanship. Every time I turned on the TV, a different Negro had a microphone in their mouth, and every Negro who spoke was funded by white folks. That's why you come to me and say, Dr. Umar, can you work with my organization? Who's funding your organization, brother? Because if you name somebody white, I can't work with you, because soon when they find out I'm working with you, you're going to have to hide me. Because white folks are not going to fund an organization that is sincerely revolutionary. That's right. The reason the white folks funded the NAACP and the Urban League was to control the amount of progress black people made. Oh yeah, yes. White people fund you to control you, not to liberate you. That's why the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said, anything black got to be done for black, by black, no outside interference. White people can't join us, white people can't finance us, and they damn sure ain't sleeping with us. That's right. We ain't got nothing black. There's a book out you need to read. It's called The Revolution Will Not Be Financed. Guess what the book is? The book talks about how black people should have made more progress in the 55 years since Dr. King murder, but you keep on looking for funding from your oppressor. 90% of every community-based organization in Norfolk is funded by white folks. I bet you. I bet you. You probably can't show me one institution in this whole city that is totally black-owned, totally black-run, with nothing but black money. You can't find it. We claim to hate racism, but then we go suck at racism's breast for finances. I know running the Frederick Douglas Marcus Garvey Academy is going to be difficult. I know it is. But guess what? I know it's better to own something that's mine and struggle with it than to have something a white man give you that he could take back whenever he wants. The two schools we got in Wilmington, Delaware, you know why they in such good shape? Because the black man who started that charter school was a black charter school. He raised $13 million. $13 million and renovated that whole block in 2010. The state of Delaware gave him a charter school. They let him operate for 2 years, and then they took his charter. They accused him of financial mismanagement and shut him down after he just renovated an entire block to a $13 million budget that he raised. That's right. That's the only reason why we got that school, is because the black man who started it, and he was an attorney and city council president for Wilmington. He wasn't nobody off the street. He's an attorney at law and city council president, and some white folks in the state capitol didn't like him, and they sabotaged him. I used to be a charter school principal and vice principal. I don't want no charter school. You got to jump through too many hoops. What I'm going to do when they come down with the gay curriculum and say, you got to teach this, or lose your funding. Because you know they're doing that. All these Afrocentric charter schools, they teaching gay lessons. They don't have a choice. Where they're going to lose their money. That's why I'm not even going to play that game. You're not telling me what to teach or how to teach. See, when I want to take your boys on a class trip, I can just take them. Y'all see that? If I want to take them to show them how to shoot guns and defend themselves, I can just take them. That's right. I ain't got to call the superintendent, the assistant superintendent. No, because we independent. We's free. That's how we run it at home. And the third mistake we made with the George Floyd protest, brothers and sisters, was there was no clearly articulated platform for change. So guess what the Democratic Party did, that you love so much? The Democratic Party manipulated the George Floyd protest into a Democratic Party scheme for election day votes. And for the life of me, I'm trying to understand how we got an anti-transgender bill and an anti-Asian hate bill, and the Mexicans get $450,000 and the Afghans got $2 billion, but the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill still hasn't passed Congress. The Emmett Till anti-lynching bill is still sitting in Congress, but the Chinese got what they needed, and the transgenders got what they needed, and the Afghanis got what they needed, and the Mexicans got what they needed. Do you know there have been 200 different attempts to give to make lynching a federal hate crime in this country? 200 attempts in 400 years, and you still haven't had one successful federal lynching law yet. Ida B. Wells dedicated her life to it. She never got one. Here we are, almost 100 years after Ida B. Wells, and we still ain't got an anti-lynching bill. Ever, not one in American federal history. But and then you got a Congressional Black Caucus, 59 Negroes up in D.C. I'm trying to find out what purpose they serve. Help me understand. 59 black folks, U.S. congressmen, only 2 of them senators, the rest of them is reps. But why y'all not fighting for us? Why the only time we see the Congressional Black Caucus is when white folks need to get elected by black people? You notice that? They come out, they get Joe Biden elected, they go crawl under a rock for 4 more years, and they come back out and get some more white people elected. I think it's time for us to get all of them out of office. Yeah. Right now, I'm working on a couple of revolutionary black political conventions. There's going to be 5 of them, one for each region of the country, where we can come and choose our own people who are going to run against them and get all them house Negroes out of there. Maxine Waters, I love you, but I'm sorry, baby. Ain't nothing coming out of there that's benefiting black folks. All y'all got to go. No disrespect. They all got to go. We need a young, fresh, unapologetically African slate of independent politicians, brothers and sisters. Because I'm not voting for black people if you're not independent. I had a Negro come up to me in Philadelphia. Doc, you voting for me? Let me ask you a question, brother. Are you an independent candidate? Now I'm a Democrat. Can't vote. Why not, Doc? Because you belong to a white political party. They control you. They tell you what to do. You're not free. You ain't nothing but a slave on a Democratic Party plantation. Why you think black people ain't made more progress? All these black elected officials, have you seen how many black folks we've elected to public office since Dr. King's assassination? Tens of thousands of these Negroes. And no measurable change yet. You know why? Because they all Democrats. They have to dance to the tune of the party. I'm not voting for you if you're not Democrat. You know why? Because you ain't got no plan for miseducation. You ain't got no plan for mass incarceration. You ain't got no plan for gentrification. You ain't got no plan for police genocide. And I know you ain't got no damn plan for economic empowerment of black folks. Those are your 5 major problems, brothers and sisters. Those are your 5 major problems. Now let me ask you a question. Name me a black state rep in the state of Virginia who got a plan that I can go read to deal with any one of those 5 problems. Name me a city council person in any of the 7 cities. Name me a mayor in any of the 7 cities who got a plan that I can go read, that they developed themselves to attack miseducation, mass incarceration, gentrification, police genocide, or access to wealth. Don't ever ask me about voting again until you bring me a candidate with a plan to deal with one of the 5. I'm going to talk to my parents, because at the end of the day, I'm a school psychologist. And by the way, brothers and sisters, I think I'm going to go back to school for law school. I never thought I was going back to college again. I was done with the devil. But I think I'm going to go back. And the reason I got to go back, we don't have a major black educational or mental health attorney in the United States. Most major black attorneys are criminal defense, civil rights, family law. So, I figure, I'm already the greatest black school psychologist ever. So I might as well become the greatest black educational attorney ever. I mean, why not?
That's right.
Just off the cones a little more.
That's right.
So I'm gonna go back to law school. It's gonna be tough because we got FDMG coming, but I gotta do it. Because there's nothing worse than helping you free your child from the special ed schemes and the ADHD schemes. And then it's time for you to sue. And I can't find nobody we can trust to represent you in the court of law. And I got to go to one of these white educational attorneys who don't even know educational law because they come to me for the answers. So I'm going to go to law school and I'm going to get that thing. I'm consulting with a father right now. Guess what's going on? His son is doing life in jail for committing a crime. I can't remember if he took someone's life or just hurt him badly, but he was intellectually disabled. He did not know what he was doing. But guess what? They refused to consider that in his sentencing and in his conviction. But when a white person say they temporarily insane or intellectually incompetent, they get all the protections. But whenever a black person say they temporarily insane or intellectually disabled, and this is on a psychological evaluation, they still didn't consider it. So I'm helping the father, but I can only go so far because even though I'm the professional, I'm not the attorney. I got to be able to take you into court and fight with you. Brothers and sisters, we should have been had a class action lawsuit for all the black kids put on dangerous medication. We should have been had a class action lawsuit for the way they're using special ed as a weapon. We should have had a class action lawsuit for how they forcing LGBTQ down our children's throats. There's so much that needs to be fought in the area of education and mental health that I'm compelled to go on back. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get into any of them because white folks know who I am now. I might got to change my name. I don't know if I'm going to get it. The black schools might be too scared to let me in. Oh, hell no. But we're going to give it a shot. That's all we can do and see what happens.